35 days later and the federal government reopens, but only for 3 weeks. How federal workers are reacting to the news. Plus, the search for a shooter in Tomball. The suspect, a woman who was caught on camera firing at point-blank range.
Facebook under fire again, accused of letting kids buy gaming apps without parental consent. The news starts now.
I am very proud to announce today that we have reached a deal to end the shutdown and reopen the federal government.
After 35 days, a deal is made to end the partial government shutdown, at least temporarily.
President Trump and the Democrats have 3 weeks to come up with a deal to fund the federal government.
In the meantime, government employees should be able to go back to work.
Here's a quick breakdown of what will happen. The government will stay open through February 15th. The deal contains no funding for the border wall, and federal workers will get back pay. The president's announcement provides some relief to local travelers and air traffic controllers.
Yeah, those workers have gone more than a month without a paycheck, and many of them calling out sick throughout the last month. And today, being short-staffed led to flight delays.
Adam Bennett is live outside Bush Airport. Adam, this is welcome news for so many people.
Boy, it sure is, Ron. The head of the local air traffic controllers union told me that his control room, not far from where we are at IAH, was abuzz when they got that announcement, when they heard President Trump's announcement earlier today. Now he hopes that his 500 or so union members will get paid ASAP so they can keep their focus on what's already a very stressful job to begin with. Now, earlier today, we spoke with him outside of the FAA Control Center near IAH. This is where they guide between 6,000 to 7,000 flights every single day. Basically, any plane flying between Pensacola, Florida to El Paso, all the way down to the U.S.-Mexico border. But in the last month or so, the support staff has been furloughed, and local union president Chris Paris says that the morale of those 300 or so controllers working there has plummeted. He says sick calls have roughly doubled year over year. Controllers have been working overtime to fill that gap, and some have even taken second jobs.
And so instead of having a rest period, they're now going out and driving an Uber. They're going out and they're waiting on tables. They're going out in there bartending. They're doing whatever they can to bring in some money.
And even with this announcement today by President Trump, there was still a bit of a lingering impact from the higher than usual sick call-outs on the East Coast earlier today. Several flights at Bush this afternoon, especially going to or from the New York area, saw some delays, some as high as 2.5 hours. So at this point, Paris, the head of the local air traffic controllers union, says he's not exactly sure when his employees will get paid. He just says that he's hopeful that another shutdown will not happen again. Reka.
All right, Adam, thank you so much. If you are traveling today, check on your flight before you leave for the airport. You can go to KHOU.com and select flights from the menu bar.
Many families have been struggling to make ends meet during the shutdown. The American Federation of Government Employees and the Dawoodi Bohra Muslim community handed out food to TSA employees and other federal workers at Bush Airport. The news about the government reopening broke as hundreds of cars drove through, picking up bread, bananas, and other kitchen essentials. Although temporary, spirits are up.
I think they're extremely happy. All I'm seeing is smiles. And I know so many of them. I've worked with them for years, so to see them, I'm looking at the smiles. They're glad to see me. I'm happy to see them, and I'm happy to be able to give, as well as with the community.
Well, today marked the second missed paycheck for these employees. Some frontline TSA workers did get 1 week's pay if they've been on the job during the shutdown.
Authorities are on the hunt for a female shooter who they say shot a woman in her own driveway in Tomball this morning.
Dramatic home surveillance video shows the shooting.
Our Matt Doherty is following the story from the neighborhood where investigators are still looking for evidence. Matt.
Eureka, detectives pulled up the police tape out here about half an hour ago. This is the driveway where the woman was shot. As of last update, she's still in very critical condition tonight. This video captured by a home surveillance camera down the block shows everything. What appears to be a woman in a black truck pulls up to the home and confronts the woman in her driveway. What happens in the next few moments we can't show you because it's too graphic. The woman pulls out a gun, shoots the other woman to the ground, firing twice. Then she stands above her head and shoots her again. Neighbors say this is a quiet suburb. Nothing like this ever happens here.
It's a very, very quiet, very safe neighborhood, and that's what a lot of people have told me. To see this is out of character.
Cindy Grice lives across the street from where the shooting happened just before 7 o'clock this morning. She's been here for about a year and was friends with the victim, whom she says was getting ready for a garage sale today.
Like I lost a friend. Like I lost a go-to person in Texas that can help me understand and learn Texas.
The woman who was shot still hasn't been officially identified. We know she's in her late 20s and lives here with her husband.
I don't know exactly what happened.
The victim's mother-in-law was here earlier today. She says the couple had no enemies. To her, this is a total mystery. We know the husband of the victim was questioned by police for hours today. He was, however, allowed to leave and go be with his wife at the hospital earlier. Constable deputies are asking everyone to take a look at that video right now, see if you recognize that shooter, and call 911 if you do. We're live in Tomball. Standing for Houston, Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
All right, Matt, thank you. Your top 4 headlines at 4. The Fort Bend substitute teacher accused of trying to join ISIS stood before a judge this morning. Warren Christopher Clark, who goes by Abu Muhammad, reportedly sent an application to the terrorist group applying for a job as a teacher. He was captured by Kurdish rebels. His father says Clark is a humanitarian and these allegations are not true.
Number 2, one man was arrested during a raid at an ice house in Fort Bend County last night. Deputies arrested Shahid Davis at the Z Bar on Crab River Road. He's charged with manufacturing and delivery of a controlled substance. The warrant issued at the bar last night was the result of undercover work into the sale of cocaine and other drugs. Davis is being held on a $100,000 bond.
At number 3, we do a lot more than driving in our cars. We eat meals, put on makeup, so it's no surprise your steering wheel is covered in germs. CarRentals.com says your steering wheel is 6 times dirtier than your cell phone screen and 4 times dirtier than a public toilet seat. Apparently, anytime you spill a drink or drop a French fry, you are just creating a breeding ground for germs.
Think about that. Number 4, Southwest Airlines drops service to Mexico City. Flights will stop this spring so the airline can move the funding to other routes. Southwest will continue service to other locations in Mexico. The partial government shutdown delayed approval of Southwest to begin flying from California to Hawaii.
All right, let's talk about the weather now. It's been a bipolar week with lots of ups and downs. This is a live look out of our tower cam. It was really a beautiful day in Houston.
Technically a cross-polar week, Rika.
Cross-polar?
Cross-polar. Yes, that makes sense.
I was going to say that, but
yeah.
You beat me to it.
Up and down for sure. Yeah. And I'm talking latitude-wise. So it's going to be more of that as well. We got a warm weekend ahead, and then it's going to get cold. Check it out. Another gorgeous day in Houston. Driving around, a couple of high clouds, deep blue skies. Temperatures around 60 degrees this afternoon. That was 45. Marriott Woodlands got some clouds around, but otherwise a very nice afternoon. A little cool, but it's the end of January. Big picture, we've got a little system coming out of the Rockies that's going to work our way tomorrow, and that could result in a couple of stray showers. Most of the activity in the morning in the hill country, although we could catch a couple of stray showers in Houston by about 5 o'clock. But for Fan Fest tomorrow at the Astros, it's going to be pretty good. 60 or so right now, and that's about what the forecast is going to be tomorrow, plus a couple of degrees. 49 by 10 o'clock tonight, 48 by 1 if you're heading out. Again, considering it's late January, very mild, guys.
Thank you, Brooks. A first-of-its-kind coffee shop set to open in Houston later this year. Amsterdam company Coffee Bar plans to sell CBD-infused coffee. CBD is found in marijuana but does not produce a high like THC would. The owners of the new coffee shop admit being avid CBD users, but they don't want a negative stigma associated with their coffee.
I felt like it was in the natural that the two were combined. A cup of coffee sometimes gets people a little too stimulated, and they say CBD helps kind of level you out.